I'm Saori Ehara, a 28-year-old housewife. Today, I'd like to talk about an epic battle. It happened between my husband, my parents-in-law, and me. I joined a trading company after graduating from university. I worked diligently and got a good position at a young age. Then I met Jin Ihara, my new boss in my new department. He was 34 at the time. I was 27. He was a very energetic and dependable leader.
Okay, we're almost there! We can do it!
He always encouraged and led others to achieve results. Soon, I found myself attracted to him. But I knew I couldn't involve my personal feelings in the workplace. I had to do my job well before anything else. So I decided not to express my feelings for him. However, our distance suddenly became closer during a client reception. We had to drink a lot at these parties. But I'm not good at drinking, and I couldn't handle the amount of alcohol, so I left the table to go to the restroom.
Saori! I'm sorry for keeping you here so late.
I'm sorry, Chief Ihara. I have to take a break.
Don't be sorry. You've had enough to drink as a woman. Clients all applauded you, Saori.
Thanks.
You should go home now. I'll explain to the clients.
Are you sure?
Yes, don't worry. It is my duty to take care of my employees. Thank you for today.
Then he brought me my belongings. At that moment, I was completely captivated by Chief Ihara. The next day.
Saori! Were you okay last night?
Yes, thank you. I also don't have a hangover today.
Great! I'm looking forward to your good work today.
He began to talk to me in this way. Soon, he started asking me out to dinner after work. I was so happy to know that he was also interested in me. After about a year of dating,
Please marry me! I promise I'll make you happy!
I said yes without hesitation. After that, I went with him to his parents' house to greet them. I met my mother-in-law Akiko and my father-in-law Sosuke. They looked like a regular middle-aged couple. They seemed to welcome me with open arms. You are going to support Jin fully from now on, right? Akiko said.
It's a woman's duty to take care of the house!
For some reason, they just decided that I would become a housewife after marriage. Well, I guess it's understandable that people their age would think that way. But Jin went on saying,
So, when are you gonna quit? I think you should let the company know as soon as possible.
Apparently, Jin had also decided that I become a full-time housewife. We hadn't even discussed it yet. But I was too excited about getting married to Jin at that time, so I agreed to quit my job. I brought the news to my bosses first and then to my colleagues, and I left the company a month later. Jin and I moved into our new house right after the wedding. My life as a housewife had officially begun.
Hey, I'm bringing employees over tonight. Can you get drinks and snacks ready?
It's already midnight. Are you sure about this?
Yeah, we haven't had enough to drink.
But I'm already in bed.
Huh? You went to bed before I got home?
That's because I don't know when you're coming home.
Stop making excuses. As a wife, it's your duty to stay up until your husband gets home.
My duty?
Isn't that common sense? Just get up and get ready. I won't accept it if you don't get everything ready.
Okay. Jin started bossing me around like this. I wouldn't mind if he did it once in a while, but...
I want to have meat. You need to remake the dinner. Why isn't my lucky tie ironed? Do it now!
He would make sudden and unreasonable demands regardless of my situation.
Bring me a beer! Give me the TV remote. Prepare a bath for me.
Whenever I was home, he wouldn't move away from the couch at all. He made me do every little thing for him and treated me like a housemaid. He basically embodied the Showa era's dominant husband mentality. Even though he is older than me, he was still in his 30s. I never thought I'd become such a Showa era husband. Such life continued for about half a year. Then we got some happy news. I'm pregnant.
Wow! That's great!
Jin was so happy that we were going to have a baby. I thought maybe he would change after the baby was born. But he maintained the same attitude throughout my pregnancy. When I was unable to move due to morning sickness,
My mother told me that morning sickness is not a disease. Don't be so spoiled. Get up and do housework. How can you be a good mother if you act so lazy?
Jin never stopped yelling at me for not doing enough. He also never once accompanied me to my checkups. He didn't even come to the hospital because of work when I went into labor. After a lonely pregnancy, I finally gave birth to a healthy baby girl. I still thought my husband would change after he saw the newborn. I had a faint hope that he'd try to be a good father. But I soon learned how naive I was. It's not that he didn't care about the baby. He did hold her in his arms and play with her, but he wouldn't do anything that's considered childcare. He never did tasks like changing diapers, giving baths, or feeding the baby. Whenever the baby cried, he only called me to take care of the baby, even though he was not busy. To top it all off, "Hey, where are you?"
I'm at the golf store. The manager called me an hour ago and told me they got the iron I was looking for.
What did I say before I left? I told you I'm going to the bank and will be back in 2 hours.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
I asked you to watch your daughter while I was gone.
Oh, all right.
What the hell were you thinking? I came home and found the baby crying by herself. I was so surprised I even screamed.
Big deal. It was only an hour. Besides, it's your job to take care of the baby.
Are you serious?
I didn't say anything wrong.
Yes, even during the few hours I went out. Jin wouldn't do his job as a father. He just left our 6-month baby alone at home. He not only failed as a parent, but also failed as a human being. I couldn't tolerate it anymore. She's only 6 months old. What if something happens to her? Can you at least act like a parent? Without a hint of apology, Jin replied,
I'm tired from working every day. You're a stay-at-home mom whose job it is to take care of the baby and the house. Now don't you dare talk back to me. You should be grateful for the life I provide you.
If I put what he said to me on the internet, I'm sure it'd receive a lot of criticism. I sighed and wondered what molded his mind for him to think like that. We got into the most heated argument we had ever had since we got married. But in the end, nothing changed. Jin said, "I'm going out for a drink," and left the house. He came back so drunk that he had already forgotten about our fight. Then he just passed out on the sofa. It was so unbelievable. He was indeed a very reliable boss at work. I also didn't feel this kind of insanity when we were dating. So my question was, why would he become a man who treats his wife so poorly? I didn't find the answer until later. One day, my parents-in-laws came to visit us. As soon as they arrived, my father-in-law sat down on the sofa and said,
I'm so tired. Sayori, quick, bring me a beer and something to snack on.
As soon as he sat down, he demanded drinks and food as a matter of course. It was just like what Jin did when he came home from work.
Make me something decent to eat. What? No sake? Then go buy some.
He had the attitude of a king. I finally realized who my husband's role model was. As for my mother-in-law, "Sorry, don't just stand there. Pour a glass of wine for your father and Jean. Oh my God, young girls these days. Quick, go prepare the bath. Your father likes hot spring bath salt, so don't forget to put that in." My mother-in-law had the so-called common sense of a housewife from the old times. With parents like that, no wonder my husband became the way he was. After that, my husband drove my parents-in-law home. He would be gone for about 3 hours. 3 hours should be enough. I decided to do what I've been thinking about for a while now.
Hey, where are you? I'm starving. Get the food ready. Prepare the bath too.
Take a good look at the table in the living room.
Huh? What's this?
Divorce papers, obviously. I've already filled my part out.
This is ridiculous. How can you be so selfish? I'm a perfect husband.
Are you kidding me?
I put food on the table for you and the baby.
That's all you've ever done.
What else should I do?
It's pointless to discuss it with you. We're done. To be honest, I was almost completely disgusted with my husband when he left the baby alone at home. My in-laws' attitude also irritated me. My parents were furious when I told them about what had happened.
You need to get away from that insane family immediately!
So I started sending my belongings little by little to my parents' house. I did it when Jin was at work, and also when he went out drinking on his days off. After Jin went out to drive my in-laws home that day, I immediately called my father to come and pick me up. I had no regrets or doubts about what I did. On my way to my parents' home, I only felt relieved and happy. My parents were thrilled about living with their adorable granddaughter. I finally lived comfortably without being treated like a housemaid. I was so happy to go to bed without worrying about being disturbed by my husband. A week after returning to my parents' house and telling Jin about the divorce, Jin suddenly showed up unannounced with my mother-in-law. I thought for a moment that they had come to apologize, but Jin was clearly not that kind of man.
Have you relaxed enough? Go home and do the housework. There's a lot of laundry and cleaning to do.
He still didn't realize that I was serious about the divorce. They thought they could get me to go home and do the chores. My mother-in-law said, "This is crazy. How could you leave your husband and run away to your parents' home? I won't forgive you unless you apologize and come back immediately." I felt so disgusted that I couldn't even comment on the situation. There's a world of difference in terms of common sense between them and my family. Then my father Hideo came out from the back of the room.
No, you're ridiculous! The apple really doesn't fall far from the tree! There's no way I'll let my daughter go back to the people who treat her like a housemaid!
He's a very kind and gentle man, but he's also big and can be somewhat intimidating. Jin and his mother sensed how angry my father was and became silent.
We'll talk through a lawyer from now on. If you ever come to my house again like you did today, I will call the police!
When they heard the words lawyer and police, they quickly went home without saying anything. Maybe they finally understood how serious we were. The divorce was almost 100% caused by Jin's problem. We discussed spousal support, child support, and property division. Since I was a housewife, I didn't expect to get much from the property division. But I successfully received a decent amount of spousal and child support. I also requested that spousal and child support be paid in one lump sum. Jin had no choice but to agree to my request. Before the meeting ended, he said,
A housewife is the same as a NEET. I'm glad to be rid of the burden.
He seemed to have forgotten that he and his family basically forced me to become a full-time housewife. But I didn't get angry. I had already planned my revenge. I needed to show him what happens when he looks down on a housewife. As expected, I got a call from Jin a few weeks later.
What the hell did you do?
What do you mean?
Don't play dumb with me! I knew it was you!
Really? I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, it's the embezzler's fault, don't you think? In fact, I began to wonder about this when I first thought about divorcing Jin. He seemed wealthy and could afford luxury suits, watches, and cars. He basically lived like a celebrity. After we got married, he would often buy expensive things like golf clubs and electronics. Because I got money from him for living expenses, I didn't know exactly how much he made. But since I worked at the same company before, I had a rough idea of how much his salary was. I knew it was impossible for him to have such a lavish lifestyle with his income. I thought it was strange, so I secretly accessed his home computer. And there it was. He had been spending the company's money. I collected the evidence and sent it to the company as proof of embezzlement. Of course, I did that 1 week after receiving spousal and child support. Jin was put in a tight spot. I once thought he was a good boss and took his job seriously, but he turned out to be such a disappointment. He soon got fired from his job. The company also demanded huge compensation from him. When his arrest made the news, my father said,
What a fitting end to a scumbag!
Since I was Jin's ex-wife and the one who exposed his embezzlement, I was also interviewed by the police. Later, I heard that the luxury goods Jin bought, along with the savings in the condo he owned, were all confiscated. But that wasn't enough to pay the company back. So Jin's parents became liable for the debt. In order to make the payment, his parents had to give up the tens of millions of yen they had saved for their retirement and sell their house and land. Jin was sentenced to prison nonetheless and became an ex-convict. Even though he's in his 30s, it's hard for him to find a new job. I heard he's now living in a shabby apartment with his parents. Now I'm working hard as a single mother. I'm not sure if I want to go back to my previous company, so I started working part-time in the same line of work as my old job. Since I had a lot of experience and a good position in my previous job, I was offered a position with good benefits. One day, while walking past a construction site, I suddenly heard someone calling, "Sayori!" I turned around and saw Jin. He became so disheveled that I hardly recognized him. He cried and came running to me.
I'm sorry! It was all my fault! Can you forgive me? You're all I got now! Our daughter needs her father too!
He scared me, so I quickly got into a cab and left. I nervously glanced outside the car window and made sure he didn't follow me. Jin looked completely different from the person he used to be. Apparently, he's earning his daily bread doing manual labor at construction sites. When I thought that he might be working in the area where I usually go, I got a shiver down my back. So I immediately told my parents my worries.
I'm retiring this year, and I've been thinking about joining my brother in the countryside and helping out on the farm.
You mean Uncle's farm?
Yeah. Life will probably get tougher since I may earn less than before. We could spend more time in a natural environment.
I was a little worried, but my uncle and Jin had only met once at our wedding. There's no way Jin could find out where I live and what I'm doing. My daughter's safety is my priority. So I decided to move to the country with my parents. With my knowledge of online business, I launched Moni Veggie Shop, an online store to sell my uncle's vegetables. The farm produces fresh, organic vegetables. So my shop soon gained a reputation for delivering sweet, tasty, and fragrant vegetables. A famous restaurant contracted us to supply exclusive for them, so we became very busy. I'm so glad you came here, Sayori, my uncle said with a big smile. It's been a few years since the divorce. I'm living a peaceful life and haven't had any contact with Jean. My daughter has grown up and started to help on the farm too. I never thought my life would change so much at the end of my 20s, but it did. Now I feel very fulfilled. I want to know more about the farm business, so I've been working with other farmers and asking for their advice. I put as much effort as possible into managing my online store, but I'm still in the process of learning. As a single mother, an online store manager, and a farmer, I'm determined to do my best.
My name is Emi Okuno. I'm a 24-year-old ordinary office worker. Today I'd like to tell you a story. It happened between my friend, her fiancé, and me. I have this friend I've known since high school. His name is Hiseo. There was nothing romantic in our relationship. We were simply good friends. Our friendship didn't change even after we both started working. We're such good friends that we would go out for drinks several times a month. However, we become somewhat distant. The reason is that Hiseo has been transferred to a different location. One day I received a message from Hiseo.
It's been a while. How are you doing?
Long time no see. I'm doing well, thanks. How are things going over there? It's been about a year since you transferred. Yeah, time flies fast.
Everything's going fine.
Great! Did you get promoted or something?
No, my work's still the same.
Did you get a new girlfriend then?
Well, yes.
That's wonderful. Congratulations.
We actually started dating right after I got transferred. And we're getting married soon.
Wow, that's quick.
I'll tell you more details later.
It's been about a year since we last spoke, but I was still surprised to hear the news. I never thought he would get a girlfriend and decide to get married so fast. From what I know, Hiseo isn't a man who would want to get married so early. Maybe he met the right person. He told me more details later. Apparently, they've already set their wedding date, and they would send out the invitations within the next 2 months. In order to attend Hiseo's wedding, I talked to my manager and requested leave on their wedding day. Even though it seemed a little too sudden, I was very happy for Hiseo. Here's some information about my personal life. First of all, I'm single. But I've been trying to find someone. I used to go to bars, but I switched to a dating app recently. I started using the app after a friend recommended it to me. And then I met someone on the app. Her name is Tsubasa, and she's 2 years younger than me. I saw her photo and felt she was my type. She seems to be a popular, good-looking person. We've yet to meet. But we've been texting every day. Everything seems to be going smoothly. She also lives close to me. I'm so attracted to her. So I think I should just meet her in person someday. A few days after getting Hiseo's message, I had this conversation with Tsubasa. Wow, your friend is getting married? Yeah, I was surprised by how sudden it was. Is the wedding going to be in Kyushu? Yeah, it seems like it. I kind of envy him. I see, me too. I'm actually going to Kyushu 2 months later. Do you want to meet up? Really? I'd love to. When would you like to meet? I can adjust my vacation time. Sounds great. We can finally meet. I'll let you know when I have more details about my trip. I'm really looking forward to meeting you. Me too. I'll start looking at a good restaurant. Thank you. I'll look for good places too. This is so exciting. Let's find a place we both like. Fantastic. I'm sure we'll have a lot of fun. Yay, I'm finally going on a date with Tsubasa. After hearing my good friend is getting married, the longing for a romantic relationship is growing in me. My longtime friend will soon be happily married, and I'll also find happiness. That's what I thought at the time. But things took a turn about 2 months later. One day I was in the middle of work, and it suddenly occurred to me. I was still waiting to receive Hiseo's wedding invitation. I waited and waited, but it still didn't come. So I called Hiseo to see if something had happened. Hey, what happened with the invitation?
Well, there's been a little delay.
But I heard other classmates have already received their invitations. Why haven't you sent mine?
Sorry, it's a little complicated. Just give me a little more time.
I was told to wait a little longer. Well, there was really nothing I could do but wait. However, a bomb was dropped on me before the invitation arrived. It all started with this message from a stranger. Are you Emi Okuno? Yes, have we met before? I'm Hiseo's fiancé, Risa. Oh, hi, nice to meet you. Congratulations on the wedding. How did you get my phone number? I got it from Haseo's phone. I need to ask you something. What is it? Could you not attend our wedding? What? May I ask why? I heard from Haseo. You're gay, right? Well, I am. I don't want someone like you coming to my wedding. To be honest, people like you kind of make me sick. Haseo's fiancé was right. I have no interest in men. My sexual orientation is 100% lesbian. I never tried to hide it. But I also don't feel the need to broadcast it. So not everyone around me knows. However, it's rare to find someone as prejudiced as Haseo's fiancé nowadays. Well, I was so indescribably sad after getting the messages from Haseo's fiancé. I got a message from Haseo.
Hey, did Risa say anything to you?
She told me not to come to your wedding. She got my number from your phone without permission, I think.
I'm sorry. She saw how close we were, so she suspects we used to go out. She thinks I'm cheating on her. So...
I see. That's why you told her I was gay. It was the easiest way to stop her from suspecting us.
Sorry. I don't know how else I should explain it to her.
It's fine. But it's still hard for me to attend your wedding, isn't it?
No, you're my best friend. I want you to be there. I'll try to persuade her.
I'm glad you said that, but you don't have to force anything. I don't want you to start a fight with her because of me. That kind of prejudice is hard to change, you know? It's probably best that I don't attend your wedding.
I'm really sorry.
Haseo is a nice guy, but he's always had bad taste in partners. I used to warn him about it every time we drank together.
You and I have different types.
He would always say something like this and refuse to take my advice. The girls Haseo dated, almost all of them had some kind of personality problem. Most of them were the type who would act like a good girl in front of men. To be honest, I really don't think I can get along with Haseo's fiancé. After that, I finally went on a date with Tsubasa. But I was worried if I could enjoy the date because of what happened. Hi, you must be Emmy. I'm Tsubasa. Nice to meet you. She looked even better than her pictures. She wore menswear and had short hair. But Tsubasa is indeed a woman. You look prettier in person. I'm surprised. You look so cool, Tsubasa. I'm so happy. Shall we go? I'm a lesbian, and I love tomboys. Tsubasa looks like she's from Takarazuka. Every time I see someone like this, I get unbelievably excited. But I don't feel the same when I see a man dressed that way. I've talked to a lot of my gay friends about our types. Some are like me, and some like cute frilly girls. Just like anyone else, we all have different tastes. We went to a restaurant, then to my favorite bar for cocktails. When we were talking, we discovered a surprising connection between us. I was so surprised. My name is Tsubasa, and I'm a 22-year-old college student. I have an older sister named Risa, but we're not that close as sisters. Here's a little fact about me. I was born a lesbian. I've never been interested in guys since puberty. I also want to point out that I don't want to become a man. I just prefer to wear men's clothes and hairstyles. That may be why a lot of people mistake me for a guy. I went to an all-girls high school and I was very popular back then. There were tomboys and regular girls in my school. A lot of girls wanted to have a boyfriend. And they thought I looked like a guy. So it's common for girls to be attracted to me. Tsubasa, this is for you. I have something for you too. That's not fair. I came first. So I have a lot of dating experience. However, although I'm relatively open about my sexual orientation, it's a little complicated when it comes to my family. Hey, are you gonna stay home today? Yeah, I don't have any club activities today. Why? I invited my friends over. I don't want you here. Okay, I'll be in my room. No! What if my friends see you and find out you're a lesbian? It's not like I'll walk up to them and say, hey, I'm a lesbian. No, they'll know if they see you. You don't even look like a girl. You talk like a guy too. You'll embarrass me in front of my friends. I said I'll stay in my room. That should be okay, right? Fine. Don't step out of your room until my friends leave. My sister never accepted my sexual orientation. She's so conservative that it's rare to find someone like her nowadays. Being conservative is okay, but she's also very discriminatory. Since she was an adolescent, I couldn't really blame her. My parents were not better. Like my sister, they couldn't accept the fact that I'm a lesbian. They used to take me to some shady counseling program. Apparently, they tried to cure me. People call it gender identity disorder if you fall in love with the same sex. But I've been like this since birth. It was extremely unpleasant to be treated like I was sick. After entering high school, I refused to go to that so-called counseling, so that stopped. My mother still couldn't accept a homosexual daughter. So things between us became more and more awkward. Well, with my parents like this, it's understandable my sister would think that way. But I don't understand why she couldn't just ignore me if it was that hard for her to accept. All she did was verbally abuse me on a daily basis. That's why we're not close. You can even say that I hated her. After finishing high school, I decided to apply to a university out of the prefecture and leave home. To my surprise, my parents were not against it, but rather happy about my decision. And my sister said, "Great, I can finally get rid of you." This is why I became independent right after high school. My new life was very fulfilling. No one could complain about me having a girlfriend anymore. I just wanted to have a good time with my girlfriends without anyone bothering me. With that in mind, I started using the dating app for lesbians. I've been blessed with a few encounters, but I have yet to find a lasting partner. I feel it's time to find someone to spend my life with. Then, in my senior year of college, my sister contacted me for the first time in about 4 years. I have something to tell you. It's been a long time, sis. I'm glad you texted me. No small talk is needed. I'm getting married. Congratulations. Since you're my sister, I'd like you to be there. Sure. So, what are you going to wear? I don't know, a pantsuit? Oh my God. I knew you were going to say that. Girls normally wear a dress to a wedding. I don't have one. Then buy one. I won't forgive you if anyone finds out you're gay. My sister is almost 24. She's supposed to be an adult, but she still can't accept me. I thought maybe she would change a little when she grew up, and there might be a way to reconcile with her. But it looks like it's not going to happen. I can never forget the way she treated me when I was younger. I still feel the anger, so I can't forgive her. A few days after my sister texted me, I went on my first date with Emmy, who I've been talking to on a dating app. I liked her looks and personality a lot, and I was so excited to meet her. We had a nice dinner, and we had this conversation while having drinks at a bar. My sister's getting married soon, but she's very prejudiced against homosexuals. She insisted I dress properly as a woman for her wedding. I guess there'll always be people like that. A guy friend of mine is also getting married soon, but his fiancée told him not to invite lesbians to their wedding. Wait, is her name Risa? Yes. How did you know? As we talked, we realized we were talking about the same person. I was really surprised by such a coincidence. I couldn't believe how small the world was. Then Tsubasa talked about her past, and it sounded terrible. Tsubasa's sister and parents treated her as a weirdo, and even now they still can't accept her. There was a time when I was really worried about not being accepted by my family. I even wondered why I was born into this world. There was nothing she could do after all. She was rejected by the people who were closest to her. I guess I'm lucky compared to Tsubasa. Tsubasa then said, "So, as a way to bring closure, I planned to add a little entertainment to my sister's wedding. Well, just think of it as revenge." And she carried out the plan. As Risa had told her to, Tsubasa attended the wedding dressed like a regular girl. Tsubasa felt very uncomfortable wearing that. The wedding ceremony went smoothly. At the reception, the bride was in a good mood and enjoying the happiest day of her life. But when the couple's friends were scheduled to perform in the middle of the reception, Tsubasa suddenly went on the stage. "I know it's time for the couple's friends to come on stage, but as the bride's sister, I want to entertain everyone a little." After she said that, the lights dimmed and the screen came down. "I'll show you a slideshow featuring pictures of my sister. Please enjoy the photos documenting my sister's growth." Then a picture of Risa from her elementary school days appeared on the screen. The guests were smiling at first, but they soon started to feel uneasy. When Risa's junior high school aged appearance came up, she started to get very nervous. Risa's appearance back then was so different from how she looks now. The size of her eyes and the texture of her skin could be changed with the power of makeup, but the changes in her nose and face shapes couldn't be done with makeup. The slideshow continued to show photos of her high school years. And then college. Wow. The photo showed how she suddenly transformed into her current appearance. There was a mysterious cheer from the guests. Risa's original face seemed to resemble her father's. It was hard to describe her as beautiful or cute. As soon as she graduated from high school, she underwent a series of plastic surgeries with her parents' help. Risa seemed to suddenly realize what was going on. "Hey, stop that! What are you doing? Turn it off, right?" There's a reason why she stopped mid-sentence. A photo appeared on the screen. It was Risa walking with a mysterious middle-aged man holding arms. When the photo appeared on the screen, Tsubasa said, "This is a photo of my sister from the day before yesterday. The man next to her is her manager at work. Oh, looks like he's here today too. Hello." Tsubasa waved at the man with a smirk on her face. I don't know where she got this photo. From the photo, it was clear that Risa was having an affair. The man in the photo was also at the wedding. He looked so pale and looked like he was going to faint. Haseo's face also turned pale. He watched the whole thing in a daze.
I'm sorry, I can't do this anymore. This marriage never happened. I'll talk to you through a lawyer from now on.
Wait, let me explain. Hey, get these pictures off the screen! The wedding turned into huge chaos. What happened after that is beyond imagination. Tsubasa secretly recorded it and showed it to me. I'm sorry, but it was hilarious. Risa's own parents confronted her. You're such an embarrassment! What have you done? Then Haseo's parents said, We'll demand compensation from you, and you need to pay us back for all the wedding expenses. They were furious. Then Risa's friends said, We're ashamed to be your friends. And they left one after another. The man Risa cheated with said,
She tricked me! It's all that woman's fault!
And he cried out loud. He was repeatedly slapped in the face by a woman who seemed to be his wife until he fell onto the floor. They'll definitely get a divorce. This is the funniest thing I've ever seen. Right? After this, I can finally come to terms with my feelings for my family. He said he wants me to check for him in the future to see if he's met a bad woman. Sounds good. I can't believe he was marrying my sister. He really has bad taste for women. Tsubasa and I started dating after that. After 3 years of dating, we finally started living together this year. One day, Tsubasa came to me with a piece of paper. This is a partnership application form in Shibuya District. Tsubasa! I want to be with you forever, Emmy. You don't have to answer right now, but I hope you will say yes someday. Of course it's a yes! I'm so happy, Tsubasa! We held a wedding party and only our closest friends were invited. Of course we didn't invite Tsubasa's family. My parents are not homophobic, and they said it'd be good for us to adopt a child. You have great parents. I hope we get along. They already like you a lot, so don't worry. Let's build a great family together, Tsubasa. I'm so happy I met you, Emmy. My name is Shizuka Takusa, a housewife in her 30s. I live with my husband, Suneo. Suneo is the son of a famous temple around town. We actually visited that temple often. We even had my grandfather's funeral held there. After a while, we eventually married. In the end, my husband decided not to inherit the temple.
I don't want to look after that temple. There's so many people there and it's just tiring. We're slowly losing funding from the public, so they don't earn as much as they used to. Working as a businessman is more rewarding financially.
Much of these earnings are given by families who had their funeral services held at the temple. I didn't blame my husband for not wanting to look after the temple. However, there were times when I felt my husband wasn't even working at a business. Suneo! Didn't you say you had to go to work today?
Shut it! I don't feel so good, so I'm skipping today. Can you call the company for me?
You said the same thing last month. It's only a matter of time till they fire you.
It's okay. The company I'm working at is one of the temple's donators.
The only reason he could even land a job was due to his connections with the temple. He's getting special treatment from the company's president due to this. That's why no one dared to fire him, even though he would often skip work. I don't know how I feel about abusing the temple's connections when you're not even going to inherit the place.
What do you care?
I guess. Well, it's time for me to go to work, so...
I can't believe you willingly go to a place with many kids!
I work as a counselor in a neighboring elementary school. It's an essential line of work as it helps kids deal with their problems. I hold a lot of pride in this work and I'm annoyed that my husband doesn't respect it. I was about to end things with him when the incident occurred. Is this a bra? And it's not even mine. When I got home, I found a bra that belonged to some other girl. I decided to check on my husband, only to see the horrifying scene. Oh, Suneo!
Tomoko!
My husband was sleeping with a different woman. Hey! Who is this lady?
Shizuka!
Hey, Mrs. Wife. My name is Tomoko, and I'm dating your husband. I was furious. What is up with your attitude? Do you not understand what's going on? Well, I am more attractive than you are, so I don't feel threatened. That's why Suneo picked me and not you.
That's right! It's all your fault, Shizuka! You're not as attractive as Tomoko!
What does that have to do with anything?
Shut up! I'm the damn heir to the temple! If I wanted to, I could cut the ties between your family and the temple!
You're not even inheriting the temple, and now you want to use my dead relatives to threaten me?
But I'm still the only son of my parents! I hold all control over your relationship with the temple!
We started fighting over the relationship with the lady being on his side. I decided this wasn't worth my time and left the house to go to my parents' place. After I explained to my parents about what had happened, they allowed me to stay that night. I was worried they would be mad at me for possibly cutting ties with the sacred temple, but they told me that there's no way the actual heir to the temple would do such a thing. I thought my husband was going to divorce me the next day, and the only reason he was being aggressive was to make sure he didn't have to pay any damages. It was only time for us to split up. That's why I decided to talk to his house the next day. However, that was when I found out he made some adjustments to the house. What? Did he change the locks? That was when my husband and his girlfriend opened the door with the chain. They smiled towards me and said, "Oh, what are you doing here? I thought you said you were never coming back." "This is my house." "But we already packed your stuff up. Isn't that right, Saneo?"
That's right! And we sold it all! We actually made some good money.
How dare you!
You know what? Come on in! We need you to take some stuff away.
The moment they let me in the house, I ran towards my room. But they were true to their words, as most of my things were missing. They even sold things that were valuable to me. "Don't worry, I'm keeping all of your good stuff with me." "That's the bag I bought with my first ever paycheck. Give it back to me." "No way, Saneo gave it to me. This was my bag."
Hey! What are you doing to Tomoko?
Saneo suddenly pushed me down to protect Tomoko. Pathetic.
We're done for! Tomoko is much better than you'll ever be. You're just a lonely student counselor that wastes their time talking to useless kids. You're not fit to be the wife of the heir to the temple.
You're not even the proper heir.
See? Not cute at all. Can't you even cry?
Fine, let's get a divorce. I don't want you in my life anymore. Hey, old hag, stop with the tone. Shut up. You're going to regret this as I regretted ever marrying this guy. I gave them the divorce papers already signed by me.
By the way, I'm also taking this house with me.
What? This was my house before we been married. You're the one leaving this house.
The moment we married, it became our house, you idiot!
I was at a loss for words with his stupidity, and I didn't want to spend most of my life dealing with these two idiots, so I decided to just leave. Can you give me some time to think about this?
Fine!
Thank you.
If you were always like this, we would have never gotten a divorce, you know. Now you'll spend the rest of your life regretting this.
Please, I just need a little time to think this through.
Sure thing.
As soon as I left the house, I went straight towards my ex-husband's temple. I knew he would try to leverage the temple to be on his side of the divorce. I showed my in-laws the recording of the whole ordeal.
What is wrong with our son?
He cheated on you and then threatened you? They then began apologizing for everything that their son had done.
We never could find Sunio a wife, and you were the only one there for him. And now he's treating you like this? Not to mention using our family name to abuse power.
I don't know what to tell my dead relatives if they see this. They apologized on behalf of their son and told me they were going to fix everything. Thank you so much. I was about to cry after hearing their words. Although I did have my in-laws' support, I already had the plan to get back at him, so I just told them not to let him in the house if he ever came back. I know I came here for help, but I wanted to tell them that I already have plans to return to my house. That house is owned under my father's name, so there's no way he'll win the place over me.
I'm glad to hear that.
Afterwards, I went back to my parents to tell them to sell the house. After the house was sold, my husband's girlfriend decided to leave him. At the same time, I gave him my divorce papers.
Hey! What the hell did you do? Why were we kicked out of our own house?
It's because it's not your house, dummy. I don't want to spend the rest of my life living in the same house you had an affair in. So I decided to sell the place.
What the hell? Why did you do that without the breadwinner's permission?
Do you know what name that house was bought under?
Of course! Mine!
And that's why you're an idiot. Do you really think someone that earned less than me has the money to own that house?
But doesn't the house usually go to the husband?
Too bad that house was given to my father after my grandfather passed away. So that house is under my father's name.
Why didn't you change it?
I always knew you would do something like this.
I'm not allowing this! Change it! I need this house!
I already filed my divorce, so that house is officially not yours anymore.
Already? Don't you feel an ounce of remorse?
Nada.
You cold bitch!
Didn't you say you never liked my cold demeanor? Why don't you go back to your little girlfriend and live with her?
I don't have money! Tomoko doesn't work too!
Then I guess you'll finally be able to be the breadwinner of the house. Although there's a very big quotation between that name.
You! Fine! I'll just go back to my parents' place!
As soon as he cut the call, he went straight to his parents, only to be met with furious parents. That was when my ex-husband said something terrible.
Mom, Dad, I'm gonna become a monk and inherit this temple! So please, let me in! And who is that girl? I got a divorce from Shizuka! She kicked me out of the house! Isn't she the worst? That was when Tomoko saved me! She could stay with us! Stop lying, you idiot! What? You told Shizuka she was being cut off from the temple, huh? That was just a play on words and... How dare you say that to her? And I already know about the affair! Damn it! Did Shizuka tell you? It was already bad when you cheated on her, but it's worse to threaten her whole family! And you never even trained properly to inherit this temple! That was because I was too busy with work and... Shut it! I don't want to ever see your face in this place again! No!
Suneo was kicked out of his house and was fired from his job immediately. I was able to get my house back and immediately change the keys so they couldn't come back. Not to mention I sued them for selling all my stuff without my permission and some money for my alimony. What surprised me is that Suneo paid all of the money in one day. That was when Suneo sent me an ominous message.
Shizuka, did you check your bank account?
Yeah, how did you get this much money already? Did you do something illegal?
Right now, I'm working as somewhat of a counselor. That money was given to me by those who benefited from my presence.
Huh?
I bet my counseling is way better than yours. Would you like to hear my story?
I had a bad feeling about this. I did hear some stories of shady counselors in the field. I was worried that Suneo had gotten his hands on the wrong side of life. I decided to meet up with him to see what he was doing. When I met him, I was surprised. He was living in a new temple.
After our divorce, I decided to strengthen my faith. Now, I work to help those who require guidance.
Suneo created his own cult to earn money. He had many followers, which was seen around the temple.
To those who walk the wrong path, blah 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 blah. So if you buy this charm, everything will be fine.
He was scamming people. I couldn't believe he was scamming innocent people. But his baseless sermon was able to reach people who were in desperate need of guidance. That way he was able to scam people out of their own wallets.
How was it? I bet you're feeling stupid leaving me, huh? But fear not, I can save you. The money I sent you was to save you. If you surrender your heart to me, I will raise you into the heavens.
Suneo's plan was to pay the money to lure me into his weird cult. I wasn't fooled, but I had a plan. Yes, Master Suneo! I decided to infiltrate the cult from the inside. Sure enough, he was selling junk to vulnerable people to earn money. As a counselor myself, I couldn't stand him benefiting off the vulnerabilities of others. I even met families who were destroyed by Suneo's cult. And the things he was selling were actually statues he stole from his own temple. I even found him stealing things that were donated by his father's temple's patrons. I immediately informed Suneo's parents about his wrongdoings.
Thanks to these idiots, I'm rich! I'm running low on some things I stole, so I should probably order some online.
Suneo began selling thousands of charms he bought online. That was when I decided to end things for him. That night, I decided to invite Suneo over for dinner. I can't believe you're helping so many people. Isn't that charm a little too expensive?
It's fine! Those idiots will buy whatever I give them! My followers are too stupid to suspect otherwise! I can't believe I didn't start this earlier!
Thanks to the alcohol, he began blabbing about everything. I succeeded in recording his admission of his wrongdoings. The next day, Suneo went on to blab about nonsense to his followers.
Thank the Lord!
Lord Suneo! After their sermon, I called over all of the followers to show them a video. I would like to show you a video from our kind savior, Suneo. I turned on the TV to show them everything Suneo said the other day.
Shizuka! What the hell is this? This isn't me!
Suneo's face turned pale immediately. What is this?
This is Shizuka's trap! It's not my fault!
Sorry, I should show you the whole video. That's right, I didn't do this once, but multiple times spanning over a week.
Seriously, all my followers are such idiots! They would pay me thousands of yen for a charm that cost me like 100 yen! I'm gonna enjoy myself tonight with all this money!
His followers became visibly furious. I can't believe I paid money to this guy!
Please, forgive me!
All of his followers ganged up on him. He ran back to his house but was locked in by his followers. Afterwards, the police came by to arrest Suneo. His followers tore down his room, revealing expensive clothes and bags he owned. Now Suneo had a ton of debt, having to pay off all the money and things he stole from his parents' temple.
I'm not a fraud! I was saving people's lives!
He tried his best to paint a better picture of himself in court, but no one believed his empty words. Now, he and Tomoko, who was in on the scam, are now rotting in jail for their actions. As for myself, this incident inspired me to help those scammed by a cult. My name is Yuri. I'm a 33-year-old housewife. I married my husband, Yamato, 4 years ago when I stopped working as a businesswoman. The year after we got married, we had a son named Ren together. We currently live in an apartment, but my husband and I had a plan moving forward. Phew, he's finally asleep.
Playing house with Ren does train my stamina.
You seem to be having a lot of fun.
Our little boy will soon grow up, so I had to make the best of the time we have with him.
Yeah.
I can't believe he was still that energetic after a full day of running outside with his friends.
He gets that quality from you.
Really?
Didn't you say you used to be a varsity volleyball player?
I guess Ren might grow up to be an athlete himself.
Whatever he does, I bet he'll excel at it.
Yep. Oh, I almost forgot. I had to tell you something.
What is it?
I'm thinking about purchasing a house.
Really?
This place isn't bad, but it's still an apartment complex. I wanted Ren to grow up somewhere more open.
You're right. If we have a big garden, Ren can have all the fun he wants.
We can even borrow materials from my dad and make our own playground.
You do love your DIY work.
We've saved up enough to be able to purchase one before Ren becomes an elementary student.
I'm in. I'm already getting excited.
Thanks! Let's start looking around for a good place.
We decided to buy our own house. Of course, it did take time before they can build one. So we decided to research who to contract. This would be the most expensive project, so we had to make sure we were happy with it. At this point, everything was smooth sailing until we met that guy. Ren, Mama's going to be busy today, okay? When I'm done, let's go out and eat some desserts. Yay! I love desserts! Unfortunately, Yamato had an urgent business matter to attend to today, so I'm going alone. But today is just some initial screening, so it should be fine. We were going to check out the new places and take some photos, and that was supposed to be it. Hello. We've reserved to check this place out. We're the Kurosa family, by the way.
Nice to meet you. I'll be your guide for Huh?
You're... Shun?
Yuri?
Long time no see. How were you?
I thought I saw the name somewhere. But it was my cousin! It's been like, what, 5 years? Well, I didn't want to meet you, but...
I guess his bad-mouthing never changed.
Weren't you supposed to be here with your husband?
He had to go to work because of an emergency, so I'm here today with my son.
So, that's your son?
I think we told your father already, but this is Ren.
Cool.
Why is he acting like this? We're still his client.
I think you know it already, but don't make a mess, okay? And don't forget to wear some slippers.
Okay. Ren, let's take off our shoes. Okay. This is Shun, my cousin on my father's side. Last time I met him, he was still an unemployed shut-in. He said he didn't want to work for the big man and didn't look for any other jobs. Although we did invite him to our wedding, he told us he had better things to do and ignored the invite. That's why I was surprised to see him working as a realtor. At least he graduated being a NEET.
That's about it.
Wow! The ceiling is up so high.
It's earthquake-proof, as there's a lot of it around here.
Oh, that makes sense.
I mean, it's kinda obvious. I don't even know why I had to explain that to you.
Yeah.
If you want to make the same house as this one, it'll probably cost you around 30 million yen.
That's a lot.
By the way, where does your husband work at?
He works at a small company called MoniRobo Holdings.
So, like a subcontractor?
Yeah.
So he hasn't got a promotion yet, huh? I guess that makes sense.
What is up with this guy?
It doesn't seem like your family earns that much. Why the hell do you even think of building your own house? I'm actually inspired by your idiocy.
What is up with you?
Huh?
It's the first time we met in years, and this is how you act? You're being kind of rude right now.
Oopsies, did I get on your nerves? Might be.
So obnoxious.
By the way, I started working in this company 3 years ago for one of the biggest housing contractors, Sakato House.
I know, I've seen it on TV.
I was supposed to work remotely, but my dad begged me to work here.
Was that supposed to be a brag?
I mean, it's like 100 times better than being some lowly subcontractor.
I don't think you should be bragging about working for only 3 years.
Huh?
I mean, you left your first job within 6 months and became a shut-in for 2 years.
Shut up! I was just preparing for stuff.
What do you mean? Don't you know how hard it was for your father?
What about you, huh? You're poor and you're trying to buy a house?
That's not true. We're not poor.
I envy homemakers. You probably never had to work a day in your life.
What is that supposed to mean?
No one is gonna loan some subcontractor money.
That's not true.
I'm sick and tired of your excuses.
I was stupid to think you would ever change.
It's almost time, so would you just leave this vicinity? I have better customers to look out for.
You don't need to tell me to leave. Mommy, where's the dessert? Sorry for making you wait. We're going now. Yay!
Make sure to talk to your husband really carefully.
Shun wasn't always like this. He only changed after graduating college. I guess job hunting really changed him. Maybe he was going into the real world too complacent. Needless to say, the way he treated his customer was not okay. I was just taking a look, but he decided to berate me. Afterwards, Ren and I went to a nearby cafe while I messaged Yamato. We just finished looking at the places. Are you okay?
Thanks, Yuri. I just finished solving the problem.
That's great to hear. Ren and I are at a restaurant.
How was the place?
Well, do you remember Shun, my cousin?
Yeah?
Well, he was our guide. I guess he landed the job after his uncle forced him to.
Isn't that good news?
Well, I explained to Yamato what happened, and surprisingly, he seemed relatively calm.
I see.
It would have been fine if he had just insulted me, but I drew the line at making fun of you.
Don't worry about it. He's had a hard time adjusting to life.
Yamato.
I've never met him, so I can't really judge his character firsthand.
But my uncle came to our wedding, so he should know who you are.
I mean, he did just insult one of his clients, so he doesn't seem like the type too keen on knowing others.
I guess.
Alright, let's keep Sakato Housing as our contract.
What?
They've done good things for my company. I'll go with you tomorrow.
Are you sure? I don't know what he'll say the next time we meet him.
It's fine! I got a big heart, and I'm not afraid to show it off.
If you say so. Although Yamato was okay with it, I was still concerned about this deal. But it's for my family. I bet Yamato has something in mind. As we ended our conversation, we decided to head back home.
Thank you for coming in today and yada yada.
Nice to meet you. I'm Yamato Kuroshi, Yuri's husband.
Oh, so you're the guy.
My wife told me everything the other day.
Oh yeah, it's been 5 years since I met her. So we were just chatting a little.
He's lying again.
I see.
Today, we'll be talking about the contract. Is that okay?
Yep. We would like to make a deal with Sakato House.
All right. Let me just get some files to finalize the deal. We'll be using your grandfather's land to build your house. Is that okay?
No problem. You already have the necessary paperwork done.
We'll first have to take down the house, so we'll let the workers do that. However, it'll cost more. Is that fine?
How much?
Adding everything up, it'll be more than 30 million yen.
I see.
Are you really sure about this? I heard you have to earn enough for your family.
That's right. My wife works as a housewife, so...
I heard you work as a subcontractor for MoniRobo Holding.
That's right. Is there a problem?
Won't you have some problems affording this place? I doubt the loan officers would agree to lend you money.
Huh? They already said it was fine.
Stop kidding! How are you going to afford this house working in a small company?
That's not true.
I'll give you some life advice. Don't buy something you can't afford.
Why is that?
You're going to be drowning in debt.
That could be a possibility.
What the hell? Of course not! And why is Yamato agreeing with him? I stood up and stared down into Shun's soul. The two were surprised, but I didn't care. Shun, could you stop being so condescending towards my husband?
What's wrong with you?
We came here to buy a house.
You made that very loud and clear. I was just being nice, telling you guys the risk of buying a house.
What does that supposed to mean?
It's a 30 million yen deal. A normal smart family would have backed off the deal by now.
We don't need you telling us how we should spend our money.
What an idiot.
And who gave you the right to judge other families first?
I thought you would waste my time with the deal you can't pay.
Is that because my husband is a subcontractor?
If you really wanted a house, he should have been a manager at least. Or are you using the money you got illegally?
Huh? I was about to explode seeing Shun so condescending towards us. He already labeled us as a low-income family for some reason. However, we were still on company grounds. I couldn't shout or it would cause trouble elsewhere. That was when Yamato gave Shun his business card.
Sorry, I didn't introduce myself properly. I've actually done some work in Sakato House too.
Huh?
I was on the edge if I should tell you, but here you go.
What? MoniRobo Factory's chief executive officer?
I've actually gone out to eat with your CEO a couple of times. He even brought me to a rather expensive place.
Were you a subcontractor?
It's not a lie. Our company receives contracts from other companies.
Quit lying! The MoniRobo Factory is one of our biggest clients!
It's true. We have great relationship with this company.
Hey, Yuri! Why didn't you tell me this earlier?
I did tell you loud and clear we weren't poor. And Yamato's father is the CEO of the company.
Seriously?
Ever since he graduated from school, he's been training at the company. He eventually got to the position he is now.
What?
But Yamato's father is a rigorous person, so he has to work at the company for 10 more years.
You don't have to tell him that.
I didn't want Shun to act like he was better than you.
Sorry, he was so chatty, so I didn't have time to tell you this properly.
You! Are you making fun of me?
Shun, I would like you to refrain from throwing any more insults at us. It's just gonna hurt you.
Shut up! I'm already pissed at Yuri for being lucky!
Shun, were you being jealous?
That's right! I had better grades than you and even got a job at a big company!
But you quit that job after being scolded once.
That wasn't my fault!
You were always the prideful one.
Shut up! What is going on? Boss! I thought you were at a conference! It just ended.
Nice to meet you.
Mr. Kurose!
We were just discussing our new home with my wife.
That's great news!
I was about to ask him about the contract, but he kept throwing insults at us.
Shun, did you screw up again?
Again?
Yeah. Ever since he was hired, he kept on making trouble with the customers. I hired him as a favor from my father. His father and I go way back since high school.
I see.
I told you not to argue with the customer like every day! I didn't know! That's not a proper excuse! I thought he was too poor to afford a house! You idiot! It's thanks to him we're able to operate our business! What? I can't deal with you anymore! You're fired! Please! Anything but that! Your father was a great man! I don't know how you became such a screw-up! My dad told me he was gonna kick me out if I got into trouble again! This was my fault. I gave him too many chances. Now pack your stuff and get out of my building! No! Mr. Kurose, Mrs. Kurose, we are deeply sorry for this. I'll personally look over your project from now on.
Thank you so much.
I'm glad we can put this behind us. Although Shun was begging for mercy, Yamato said he didn't want to forgive someone that insulted his wife. After he was fired, I don't know what happened to him. Although I did see a piece of news about a guy who was arrested for stealing food from a restaurant. Maybe it was him? It's been 2 years since the incident. Our dream house was built and we live happily together. True to his words, Yamato built Ren his own playground in our backyard. From now on, we'll cherish this new house.